A quadrilateral is a closed figure that has four straight sides. So the quad basically means four, and lateral means sides, so it literally means four sides. In terms of special types of quadrilaterals, a rectangle is a quadrilateral that is made of four right angles. So you can think of rect as right and an angle, right angles. A square is a type of rectangle that has four congruent sides. That is, a square is a rectangle where all the sides are the same measure. So note that a square is a type of rectangle, but a rectangle is not necessarily a square. All right, so which of these are quadrilaterals? Well, part A, if you count, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. So that part A is a quadrilateral. Part B has a curved side right at the top. That is not a quadrilateral. So quadrilaterals are made of four straight sides. That's only 3 straight sides and 1 curved side. Part C, looks like 4 straight sides, so that's a quadrilateral. And then D is not closed, so it's not a rectangle. Not a quadrilateral. Alright, so one property of a rectangle is that opposite sides are always congruent. That's true of rectangles, it's also true of squares, though for a square, all the sides are congruent. But for rectangles, the opposite sides are. So the left and right sides of a rectangle are the same measure. The bottom and top sides of a rectangle have the same measure. So if I want to solve for x using these rectangles here, for part A, I know that if I'm dealing with a rectangle, that the left side and right sides have to be congruent. So I know that 15 has got to equal to 3x. So in this case, x is, if you divide by 3, you'll have x equal to 5. And for part B, the first rectangle on the left side of that rectangle is 4, so the right side is 4. And now that length for the right rectangle, the left side is 4 plus x, and then the right side is 6. So if you subtract 4, you'll get x equal to 2. All right, so let's extend to different types of quadrilaterals. We'll say two lines in the same plane are parallel when they have no points of intersection. So you can think of it like railroad tracks where they go on forever. Two line segments are parallel when their line segments are taken from parallel lines. So they don't go on forever, but they don't touch, and they would, if I did extend out those line segments, they would never touch. And we'll use kind of arrow or segments to indicate that they're parallel. So a parallelogram is a type of quadrilateral that is made up of two pairs of opposite sides that are parallel. And for a parallelogram, the opposite angles of a parallelogram are always congruent. So the upper left corner and the bottom right corner of a parallelogram are congruent. They have the same measure. The lower left and the upper right corners have the same measure. I should point out that squares and rectangles are both types of parallelograms. So except for those, they always have 90 degrees. So the opposite angles for squares or rectangles are always going to be congruent because they're always 90. But this is true in general that for parallelogram, opposite angles are congruent. And as far as the sum, if you add up those four angles of any quadrilateral, they will always add up to 360 degrees. So in this case, my angles are x, y, z, and w. X plus y plus z plus w, that will always equal to 360. And the reason for that is you can take any rectangle and cut it, from one corner to the opposite corner, and you're basically going to form two rectangles. And if you recall that the sum of the angles of a triangle is 180, so 2 times 180 is 360. So the angle measures of 3 angles of a quadrilateral are given. Find the measure of the fourth. Well, 90 plus 90 plus 90. So if I add the ones that I know, 90 plus 90 plus 90 is 270. And then 360 minus 270 gives me 90. And that's what we expect, because rectangles and squares all have 4 angles of 90 degrees. For part B, we want to do 80 plus 124 plus 155. So let's do that on the side here. 5 plus 4 is 9. 5 plus 2 is 7. 15. 359 degrees, which means that the missing angle's got to be 1 degree. So part A was 90 degrees. Part B has got to be 1 degree. So so this rectangle is going to look kind of like a needle. And then if I go 146 plus 90 plus 65, that comes out to be 11, 10, 20. So it looks like 301 degrees. And then 360 minus 301 is 59 degrees. So the missing angle for part C is 59 degrees.